We'll continue with our press conferences here. A couple of reminders before we get started here. As a courtesy to your fellow media members and team participants, please make sure to silence your cell phones. For those in the room here, please make sure to raise your hand and provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question here. For those of us joining on Zoom, please make sure to use the raise hand function, and we'll certainly address your question in the room, or we'll address the questions in the room here first before heading over to Zoom. And then one final reminder here, recording of press conferences on cell phones or cameras is prohibited. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here with Alabama head coach Nate Oats. Coach, we'll have you begin with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, our guys are excited. I thought they're good practice, locked in. I mean, North Carolina's one of the best teams in the country, #1 seed, deservedly so. They got a lot of talented guys. I mean, we've got our hands full. Our defense is going to have to be a lot better than it's been most of the year. I thought we had a good defensive game against Grand Canyon. Our offense wasn't very good. We're going to need both of them together, playing well to be able to beat North Carolina. But I do like where our guys' heads are at. Luttrell's being reevaluated by the medical staff every day, and he's basically on a day-to-day basis now. So I'm not sure if he'll be available or not until they let us know tomorrow. So other than him, we're healthy. Obviously, and Davin's out. But, you know, I think our guys are locked in. It should be a fun game. North Carolina likes to get up and down the floor, as do we, so it's going to be a pretty fast-paced game. I would think we're going to have to do a good job on Baycott. You know, we've played some of the best bigs in the country, so we've had some experience. You know, we played Edie, Ballo, Kalkbrenner back-to-back, played P.J. Hall, Clemson, played, you know, Tolu Smith at Mississippi State. I think, you know, we've played some of these bigger guys. Some we've guarded better than others, but we're going to have a plan for Baycott. And then obviously R.J. Davis is one of the best scorers in the country. You know, him and Sears, I think, are 11th and 13th. They're like right there together, and he's super talented. So you know, you can't just have a game plan for Baycott. You got a plan for Davis. Cormac Ryan hit 7 threes against us. He was 7 of 9 from 3 in the tournament against us when he was at Notre Dame. Ingram just went 5 of 6 from 3 last game. So they've got multiple guys that can shoot it, score it inside. That's why they're #1 seed. So we've got our hands full. We know it, but I think our guys are locked in and ready to go.
All right, we'll begin here in the second row, the AP. Oh, sorry, we'll move to the first row.
Nick Kelly, Tuscaloosa News. Nate Milwaukee, or Diabate, I should say, had, some really good minutes for you guys last game. Essentially, has he earned more playing time, or what do you think of the minutes he's done so far for you guys?
Yeah, no, he has. I mean, he's been tough, physical. His attitude's been great. You know, we always know if we put him in, we can get some toughness. So we got to find a way to get him some minutes. We like to have shooting on the floor, and that's not one of his strong suits. He was shooting it well in practice today, but, you know, he's easier to pair with, like, Grant at the 5 maybe when you get, you know, then you still only have, like, one non-shooter on the floor. But, no, like his toughness, physicality, just kind of his will to win, you know. Like, yeah, he's probably earned some more minutes, but he's got to figure out ways to get them. And, you know, based on how Reitzel is, and, you know, Reitzel's been cleared to play before and then not been able to play that many minutes. So based on Reitzel, even if he can play, if he doesn't play that many minutes, there's going to be some minutes available for Mo to be able to pick up.
We'll go next to the third row.
Hey, Nate, Ryan Hennessy, NBC 13 in Birmingham. 2, if I could. First one, today was the day 5 years ago that you were announced officially as the head coach of Alabama. To look back and just kind of talk about your 5 years and how special it's been, obviously the contract extension, and what's this meant to not just you but your family.
And then you realize that March 27th it was, huh?
You were announced that day, and then you were introduced the day after, I believe.
1 week after my oldest daughter's birthday. She didn't like wasn't a very good birthday present for her to move her from Buffalo to Alabama, but it's turned out to be pretty good. She loves in Alabama now. Lexi's a sophomore at the university. We, you know, like seeing Jossie will be here for the game tomorrow. We've come to love Alabama, and I think we've gotten the program turned around. I think we've been able to do what Greg hired us to do. Let's get this basketball program on a national level, like about every other sports program at Alabama is. So we still haven't gotten to a Final Four. That, to me, that's kind of the next step. So got to win tomorrow to get a chance to win another game to get to the Final Four. So, making a Final Four is not easy. You got to beat some good teams. You got to upset some teams. So, we've somebody gave me a good stat the other day. I think there's been 4 teams in the country that have been in 3 out of the last 4 Sweet 16s, and I think this is accurate. I think it's us, Gonzaga, who's made like 9 straight, which is crazy. I think it's us, Gonzaga, Houston, who we had a series with, and then Creighton. So pretty good company. I think over the 5 years since we were hired, we've gotten this program to a level that it's what Alabama sports should have their athletics at. Now, we got to make another step. So we got to get this team locked in, really ready to go against Carolina. But I'm super grateful to Greg and Dr. Bell and Chancellor St. Jean and the whole board. They've been super supportive. I'm appreciative that they gave me a new contract and want to keep me around in this business. Sometimes they don't want to keep you around very, very long, but I think we've done well enough that they want to keep us here and keep this thing rolling.
My second one is we were out there, I believe it was 2 years ago in San Diego. When you see Cormac Ryan, I know you mentioned it, but oh boy, yeah, that was
that was not one of our better NCAA tournament games. He killed us. I think he was 7 of 9 from 3. I think he scored 29 points on us. That was the game that Quinterly blew his ACL out in the first couple minutes, so that it didn't. He was playing really well. It didn't go well for us. I think it was the only time I've been at Alabama that we haven't made a Sweet 16, that they've had an NCAA tournament. So, they didn't have the tournament my first year with COVID, and then these last 4 years we've made a Sweet 16. 3 out of those years, that was the one. So we tried to recruit him when he went in the portal. If a kid destroys you like that, it'd be good to add him to the roster. We were not successful in our recruitment of him. He picked another pretty good basketball program. And here we are. So we've got to try to figure out how to stop him a second time.
But
Hi, Coach. Nikki Kay with Spectrum Networks. First of all, happy belated birthday to your daughter. But you're back in the Sweet 16 with 3 returners from last year, and you're facing a program that's got a unique blend of experience and talent. So when you look at these 2 teams, what do you think it is about the composition of players that helped you guys get to this point in this landscape?
Yeah, I mean, we had three returning players from last year, so it's not many, but we're in the transfer portal era where that happens. I think those 3 guys got good experience, Mark and Rylan and Nick. Then we were able to add in some really good freshmen that have contributed. We talked about Mo Diabate earlier and Jaron Stevenson, who's from Chapel Hill, so this is a little bit of a meaningful game for him. Sam Walter's been good for us, those 3 guys. And then we were able to add some transfers that have really helped keep this program at a pretty high level. Estrada has kind of been that do-it-all guard that's been great for us, had a triple-double. Grant's been good for us. Reitzel's been really good for us. I think we got a pretty good mix of a lot of new guys in to keep this program up to where we're not the number 1 overall seed like last year, but you don't get Brandon Miller every year either. So I thought we got some pretty good replacements in to keep us at a pretty high level to where we're in a Sweet 16 and got a shot to make the second. Alabama's only been to one Elite Eight ever, and that's the farthest they've ever gone. So if we can win one more game, we kind of equal that and then give ourselves a shot to try to make the first Final Four ever there.
go ahead. We'll go to the third row here.
Coach, do you talk to Pringle and just say, this is the game? I mean, you got one of the best big men he's going up against. Is this the game where he can really show himself? He showed himself a lot last week, but this is kind of the game to bring you guys to the Elite Eight?
Yeah, I think Nick's been great. like in the NCAA tournament, leadership, effort, intensity, focus. When he's that way, he's good. I had a meeting with all of our bigs shortly at the first film session we had in Carolina, and kind of made the point to them, listen, we've played some of the best bigs in the country. That's great that we put a schedule together that you guys were able to test. The issue is we haven't done all that well. I mean, we had Nick and Wage foul out. Both of them foul out 3 straight games. They said we got to be able to guard the big without fouling and keep you guys in the game, do a better job. So I expect those guys to kind of lock in the film study, be a little better. I think Nick's been great for last week. He's battling a foot injury, but at this point of the year, if you're fully healthy, probably means you're not playing any minutes. So everybody's banged up a little bit at this point of the year. So I think he'll be ready to go, and I think his mindset's right. Now, Baycot's one of the best bigs in the country, so we could do pretty well, and Baycott could still have a decent amount of points. I mean, I think he scored over 2,300 points. It's a lot of points in his career, so he's a pretty good player.
Go ahead in the back.
Sports. Coach, it's been discussed, locally, but you didn't lose a lot of You didn't only lose a lot of players. You lost 3 assistants at this time last year to head coaching opportunities. I'd just be curious what last April was like for you, and now that you're on the other side, if you ever envision that this group, as you're making phone calls and doing all this stuff, could be in this position. Obviously, third Sweet 16 in 4 years.
Yeah, last. It was great in some regards because you get to see your 3 assistants that have been with you for 4 years get the opportunity to go be their own head coach, which is why, kind of the ultimate goal of assistants. So you're really close to Brian, Charlie, and Antoine. They've kind of been in the wars with you for 4 years, and now they get to run their own program, so super happy for them. But, maybe not all at the same time. So, if it comes up, we're the number 1 team in the country, so that helped. So, we've got a saying there, when the tide rises, all the boats rise. We use it with the players, trying to get them to realize when you win, you all get taken care of. But it applies to the staff, too. So while I was really happy, it did cause some stress. So Charlie and Brian had their jobs, and then the day that Petway got his, all of a sudden I realized, I have no assistants left anymore. So, we started to make some hires. I'd made, talked to Coach Pannone a little bit, but he still had the NBA season going. Talked to a couple other guys in the NBA that maybe wanted to get into college. I'd talked to Preston. We had to sort through some issues on him. And then, I'd interviewed a handful of guys when I'd been at the Final Four myself, and all of a sudden I'd start to make some decisions. I had 0, at least till Antoine got it, I had 1. So to have 0 assistants and then realize that you've got to replace all these players, we got to get going here. So, the hiring process, when Pannone said he wanted to do it, that's great. He still had to finish the NBA season. Preston had to wait till his show cause was up. So I got Claunch in, who had been a head coach, and I think he did a really good job kind of helping hold it all. I think I did a pretty good job with the hiring. And now I got to go hire some more, because Claunch already got a head job again, which is great because he deserves it. So I think to put the roster together that we did speaks volumes to the staff, to our system. To be able to hire the guys in that I did speaks to the level of basketball we've got in this program too. But, yeah, we only had 3 returning players and no returning assistant coaches. So that's – now – you're able to put 2 more guys on the floor, not recruit. So Bowman's been with me for a while, so we were able to at least have some continuity with a guy on the floor that's been with me. But, yeah, I think our staff's done a great job. I think we did a pretty good job hiring, and the administration was great in helping me hire the right guys and keeping this program up to a pretty high level.
All right, we got time for one more. Go ahead in the back.
Cameron Salerno, CBS Sports. I know you mentioned earlier that you guys played one of your best defensive games in a while. How do you guys balance that and maintain that level of defensive intensity while also, maintain the top scoring offense in the country as well?
Yeah, I told them we don't have to forget about offense when we play great defense. You can put both together. So the Grand Canyon game, I've had people compare it to a rugby contest, football contest. It got a little rough physical. I like the fact that our guys matched their physicality and we stayed in it and didn't quit and showed a lot of character. But, yeah, it'd be nice if our offense, to take care of the ball, make shots like we've been. So we're going to need both. I think I honestly, in the past, have felt like when we've played our best defensive games, with other teams, even this team, then you can get out and transition more when you're getting stopped. So a great defense should help your offense in theory. Now, again, when it was as physical as it was and, guys had to get used to the officiating and what was going to be called, what wasn't going to be called. That might have had some effect on the offense. I think North Carolina is a pretty physical team, though, too, which, they've got a pretty good defense. So, we've got to get our offense back. We know that. We're not going to be able to hold Carolina to 60 points. It's not really who we are, and that's definitely not who they are. So, we're going to have to get an offense that's clicking like the number one offense in the country in order to have a chance to win this game. So we've made that point. We're putting a little more time in on our offensive side, trying to figure out how to attack them. Now, they're not easy to figure out how to attack because they've got really good rim protection. They got good guards. They've got smart players. They're good. But we are putting some time in on our offensive side of the ball, too.
All right. Thanks, Coach. All right, coming up here, we'll have Alabama student-athletes Mark Sears, Jaron Stevenson, and Nick Pringle. As we wait for them to come, just a couple of reminders here. Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference and all press conferences in the NCAA Digital Media Hub. You can find that at ncaa.veritone.com. And transcripts will be provided by ASAP. They'll be posted shortly. All right, we will now welcome to the stage Alabama student-athletes Mark Sears, Jaron Stevenson, and Nick Pringle. We will go ahead and open it up for questions at this time. A reminder to state your name and affiliation. Do we have any questions for the student-athletes? Go ahead there in the fourth row.
For Nick, just one of the best bigs you're going to be going up against. Do you feel like you're ready to rise to the challenge tomorrow on a national stage?
Yes, most definitely. I mean, I feel like our coaching staff, they put a lot of work and time into, getting us prepared for moments like this. We played a lot of games, to prepare us for this moment. 6 of these teams, we lost to previous in the season. So I feel like, getting back to that and, watching film, having more intent, and getting better and mentally tougher, and that eventually help us, with our end goal.
We'll go next right here, first row.
Yeah, this one's for Mark and for Nick. You guys were both around last season for the quadruple overtime game against North Carolina. Just what do both of you guys remember about just kind of going through that game and just kind of the energy needed and just everything like that? What do you remember about last year's game?
I mean, that game right there was a war, man. 4 overtimes. After the first 2 overtimes, it was like, man, when this thing go in? But it was definitely a fun matchup, especially from most of the same players being on the team we're going to go against, so we're looking forward for that matchup, and it's going to be a really fun game.
Yeah, I would probably say that was definitely one of the longest games that I've been a part of. I didn't necessarily play that much that game, but, I had a role where I had to, bring energy and, talk up players and, make sure everybody was locked in for the right moment.
We'll go next to the 4th row. Go ahead.
This one's for Mark. When you guys are on the national stage, thousands of people are watching you. They're also watching and learn about your family. There was a thing with your mom. She shoots the free throw with you. What has it been like for your family, that experience, and her being on the national stage as well?
They just soaking it all in. My mama, she's very energetic. She has a lot of passion for the game. It's just a blessing for her to be able to see the outcome of her being so supportive of me throughout the years.
We'll go next to the back. Get a mic over to you.
Joe Reedy, Associated Press. If Latrell's not able to play tomorrow, just how much does that affect a starting lineup and what you guys do?
I honestly think, Latrell will be fine. I think, we'll still have, a great game plan. If he plays or not, I think he will definitely play. But I think we still have a great game plan. We have a lot of great players. We got a lot of great coaches that can make adjustments, and we'll make it happen.
Go ahead. We'll go next to the first row.
Yeah, Jaron, I know for you, being a North Carolina guy and things like that, I know you considered UNC a little bit, but how much did you, I guess, kind of watch, North Carolina growing up and then obviously having the opportunity to play against them tomorrow, just kind of your initial thoughts and feelings about that?
Yeah, I watched quite a bit of North Carolina basketball. I was 10 minutes away from their campus. I watched quite a bit. I know a lot of their coaches, a lot of their players. It's definitely surreal, just a full circle moment for sure, playing North Carolina.
A reminder for those of you on Zoom, go ahead and use the raise hand function if you want to ask a question. And here in the room, we'll go next to the 4th row.
Alabama's never been to more than the Elite Eight. How many times have you guys heard that, and how much do you want to change that and get to the Final Four?
That's something, Coach Oats, he expresses to us a lot. He always, preaches the importance of these games. Every moment matters. Every possession matters. The best thing we can do here is, lock in, have intent, better our communication, just, be the best we can possibly be as players. And the coaches, they do so much for us to have us prepared for moments like this, like I said. And I think, the outcome of it, we'll just say the rest of it.
Anybody else? No. All right, we'll go next to the back.
CBS Sports. Mark, this is for you. You've taken a huge offensive leap from last year to this year. What do you think has really contributed to that, and how have you kind of taken on a lead role as a scorer and that stuff?
I'll say, really having that motivation from last year when we was the #1 seed and we got upset by San Diego State, and just having that feeling of, man, it was basically disappointing because we was the #1 seed and wanted to win the whole thing, Just having that motivation throughout that whole off season, just constantly putting the work and the hours, and no matter when I'm tired, just continuing to fight through it and be mentally tough, And I just had that mindset throughout the whole off season, And I couldn't have done it without my teammates right here. They're really great teammates. I wouldn't be myself without these guys.
Do we have any other questions here in the room? Go ahead, here in the front row.
Another one for you, Mark. Looking at kind of R.J. Davis and, obviously, the season he's having this year, when you look at him on film, what do you kind of identify as, some of the things that, makes him, either, difficult to guard, and just what kind of allows him, from your vantage point, to be successful on the court?
I say he's a great player. He's a really great shot maker, tough shot maker. That's something that he's really great at.
Do we have any other questions? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Second row.
This question's for all three athletes, student athletes. What do you think are the keys for tomorrow's game for a victory?
Go ahead, Mark. We can start with you.
I'm going to say one would be defensive rebounding.
I think just getting out, getting back to our offense. I feel like we struggle offensively these last few games. Just getting back to that, getting out, fast pace, and I feel like that's a big key for sure.
Something I would definitely say, picking up where we left off last game, defensively, it's something that we kind of struggle with, throughout the year. And I feel like, last game we showed our, true potential of what we really could be. And, just, having intent about everything, watching film and, just trying to find ways to continue to grow as a team and allow, our defense to lead to our offense and, just play for each other. And we all got a lot in common. We want the same things. It's just a matter of, how much do we want it and what we're going to do to get it.
Do we have any other questions here in the room? And for those of us joining on Zoom, any questions? Go ahead and raise your hand. All right, one final call for questions. We are set. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.